So here we are in Audacity. I chose Audacity because it's very free and very popular, and I believe most of you will be able to adjust to it quite quickly. It's not that difficult of a program to use. You're going to want to put whatever sound you want in here. We just want a sound effect for now. But this process is the same for any sounds you want in Halo, really. So go ahead and put it in the tracks here. This will match up perfectly to my animation and pulse right at the top there. Using some fantastic Windows tricks, let's see if we can't do that. When you have a sound that you are happy with, go ahead and save this out. I'm going to save the project, sure. I'm going to save it as Beacon, boom, and let's export. You're going to want to save it as, you can save it as OGG or WAV, but I prefer WAV actually, because the method we're going to use today is, again, one of those methods that still works to this day. I've tried exporting sounds by myself, and it is a very, very frustrating process. Luckily, we have a tool here provided by the wonderful modding community that is going to make our life a lot easier. So you can go ahead and save this thing as a WAV file. I'm going to go ahead and save it in my sounds directory in a new folder called Beacon. So we have data, sounds, Beacon. Put whatever you wish here and export it out. Okay, now it's time for that tool I told you about. The wonderful modding community has produced for us the Halo CE sound converter. It severely saves so much time in making sounds for your maps. So thank you very much to the Click Team, Custom Curtis Sounds, TLS Udi, Nerve Booger, and the Bink entire company, SDK, etc. You guys make a very awesome tool. I'm going to put a link up to this in the description below. You're going to want to take all these files, every single one of them, copy them, and put them in your Halo directory, which I've already done here. Go ahead and overwrite anything it asks to overwrite, because they are just updated versions of them. Oddly enough, you're going to run the 2.exe file, and you're going to get a nice little intro here. Go ahead and click in Converter. Select the sound file you want to use. We're going to open our beacon.wav file. Go ahead and play it to make sure it's right. That's correct. There's a 1.5 second delay, and then so that's correct. Put the file name you want here. This is for the resulting sound. We're going to leave it as Beacon. Actually, let's call it Beacon Pulse. We're not working with the Xbox, so leave it OGG Vorbis, OGG Vorbis. And you see here, you see some stuff here. Stuff's going on, going crazy. And we're done. Seemed kind of weird there. Nonetheless, go ahead into your tags directory, your sound folder, music, and here we go. Here's our beacon pulse. You also see, as I said before, I ran some preliminary tests here just to make sure this stuff would work with the newer 3D Studio Max and their tool. It did indeed. So here we have our beacon pulse sound in tag sound music. We're going to go to Gorilla. We're going to create a new tag, and this will be the sound looping tag. Go ahead down to tracks and click add. You can go ahead and make the gain 1. You don't want to fade in or fade out in this case. We're going to click our we're going to click our loop and make sure our loop is pointed to our sound here. So beacon pulse sound. Okay. Go ahead and save this out as a sound looping file. I'm going to create a new folder in my sound directory and call it loops. And go ahead and save this as beacon pulse. Now then, go back to your scenery. Open up that tag. You can go on down to attachments. Go to sound looping on the type. And go ahead down to your looping sound over here. Now we're going to go through these. Go ahead and open up that looping sound again. Then open up your actual sound item, your sound tag. And we're going to want to set these to something reasonable. Minimum distance, the distance below which this sound no longer gets louder. So you want to set this to some sort of distance that's reasonable for your sound. We just have a little beacon here. So we want it to start fading away. We want it to stop getting louder at 2 world units. Then we want it to be quiet after 5 world units. So the way I take this is from 0 to 2 world units, it'll be loud and it will stay loud. Then after 2, it will start fading away to 5 world units, in which case it will be completely silent. So we want, if you're within 2 world units, you need to hear this thing. After that, start fading away, and then 5 world units away, you won't hear it at all. We can go ahead down to these. You can modify these as you want. I'm setting them to 1 here. I'm not going to change any of the skip fractions because that will mess with things in a way we don't want. And go ahead and save this as it is. Go ahead and save this. This should not have changed. This now has that. And we're all good on that end as well. Save your scenery tag. Close. And then reopen Sapien. Go ahead and save your scenario there. We've now successfully added a little pulsing beacon into our Halo world. So we're going to go ahead and place a couple more of these things here. Now what's actually odd is the sound might get desynced just based on the placement of them. That's the frustrating part. There are other ways to sync up sounds to it, which we'll explore at a different date. Since I'm sure for your first scenery, I'm not sure many of you will start with something that needs to be so precisely synced up to some sort of sound effect. That's more for devices which are a separate type of, they're not even a type of scenery really, but I'll consider them that. Things like doors and elevators. That's a complete category that we'll cover later on, along with syncing sounds to those. So enough of Sapien, huh? How about we actually go in the game and see how these things work out?